Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Pint Live. A few mates get together. We talk about all the goings on with West Ham throughout the week. And there's a lot of big news, big developments going on, big rumours in the world of West Ham. It's looking more and more likely Paqueta could be going to Man City. Ward-Prowse passing his medical. Apparently, we've agreed personal terms with Maguire. And apparently we could be trying to bring Cole Palmer from Man City the other way. So we're going to be deep digging and diving into all of that stuff. Obviously, I'm here with Ryan and the elusive Graham. How's it going, lads?
Not bad, mate. You had a good week?
Good week. Got a lot of sun, if you can tell.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. And you ain't even mentioning that. It's the Premier League season starting again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's starting.
All that's happening, and we forgot about the Premier League season starting.
Yeah, I've got it up right here. So you're going to get a little mini watch along at the same time.
Put it on in the background.
We'll see how that goes. So maybe, I don't know if Cole Palmer's in the squad, actually. I haven't even checked that. That'd be an interesting one. I mean, look, let's dive straight in. Let's get into the Paqueta stuff first, the bigger stuff. It's looking a little bit more likely. Apparently, we've set our price at about 90 million. Man City, obviously, they've had a big injury to Kovacic. They signed this season, and I think that is behind a lot of the, importance of them trying to bring in a player like Paqueta. So talks are ongoing between the clubs. Apparently, Paqueta has been professional throughout, fair play to him, but it's edging closer to the point of, we could be without Paqueta this season.
Yeah, it sort of come as a blow. It's like with the Declan Rice situation, we sort of knew it was coming. With Paqueta, it was out of the blue, but I was watching Sky Sports News earlier, and Darmish was on there, and he was saying that like Paqueta is obviously he would favour the move, but he's not going to kick up a fuss about it. So unless City pay the money that we want, which is about 85 to 90 million, which I personally think if we get Cole Palmer as part of the deal, I think it'd be a good all-round business. As much as I'd hate to see him go, I think we can't really turn that sort of money down because he's got a buyout clause next summer anyway. So we either take the option of keeping him because he's got 4 years left on his deal with an extension, so basically 5 years left. You see his family, like his wife on Instagram yesterday, like they seem pretty happy. But as Graham said, like once a club like Manchester City come knocking and Pep Guardiola the chance to play in a team that's just won the treble, it's tough for any player to turn down. So I can't blame him for wanting to move, but from what I'm hearing, he's not going to sort of force it, which is a good sign, really.
Yeah, I say it's a good professional attitude from him. Like you say, he said he loves it here. But when the European champions and league champions come knocking, it's hard to fend them off. But like you say, he's not doing a Creswell and Downing tools, is he? He's staying professional, and he'll still give 100% in a West Ham shirt.
Oh, they've scored already, by the way, Man City. Bloody hell. 3.5 minutes. The first goal.
See,
of the Premier League
they don't even need him.
Yeah.
What do they need him for?
Don't worry about it. Just leave him where he is.
Haaland,
that's why I said Palmer. I'd be more than happy if he came to us. From what I've read, like Guardiola thinks he's one of the brightest young prospects he's ever seen.
On Palmer, and we are having talks about Palmer coming the other way. The thing is, which I don't understand, is what's being said is we are asking them about taking him on loan, whereas Man City, we have a better chance of getting him if we sign him on a permanent. Now, I don't understand that because if we have a chance to sign him on a permanent deal, take it. Snap their hand, like just get the player in. I don't see the point of a loan because if we get him in on loan and he's brilliant, it gives Man City the opportunity to go, oh yeah, we'll actually want to keep him. Like, unless it's a loan with obligation, all of that stuff. But just, you know what I mean? Like, if you just lessen the value, obviously we're not going to ask for 90, 100 million plus Cole Palmer. So
Yeah.
it helps them get the price cheaper, and it helps us get a player in. And what's being reported is that Moyes wants to potentially utilize Cole Palmer on the right wing with Jared Bowen playing in the middle. So he sees them playing in the side together, which I like the sound of that, to be honest, because Bowen likes to drift in the side anyway quite a lot. And, you know, we've needed a little bit more depth on the right wing. So I think that sounds brilliant. Get him on a permanent.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a great move for him as well. You know, I know he's a Manchester City boy, but he come on last week in the Charity Shield and he scored the goal, and I think he actually got man of the match, and he was only on the pitch for like 25 minutes. But there's a lot of noise coming out of Man City about him, and I think that he would add a lot to our team, to our squad. Look, I know losing Paqueta is going to be tough because, you know, we've all taken to him, and I'd like to have seen him maybe like in the team with players like Alvarez and Ward-Prowse around him, just to see what they could do together. But I think that for a player that we signed for, what was it, 50 million to get
45 around that,
to get double your money back after a season. And look, whether he stays this season, he's more than likely going to go next season because he's got that sell-on clause, which was a smart move by West Ham because they must have knew that he was going to get. Because I think Guardiola tried to sign him last summer, but because of FFP, they couldn't get that deal. So he was always destined to go to Man City, it looks like. But I'd like to see him stay one more year. I'd love to see it because I think, like I said, I think he is happy, and I think if we can sort of build a team around him, a midfield around him especially, I think it'll bode well for us going forward this season.
Yeah, the thing is, he'll go with everybody's best wishes, and you know, thank you for the great season he gave us. Well, in Europe anyway, mate. You know, but yeah, I certainly wouldn't begrudge him the move.
Well, to be fair, he needs a big garage because he's got half of East London and Essex cars that they sold him in June.
He's someone I'd miss watching him because he's someone that I've enjoyed just watching him play. He's another one of them players that just gets you off your seat. It's exciting to see what he can do with a football. But if there is a big potential of us losing him next summer with the buyout clause anyway, and we're getting that money, and you know, realistically, and I think he would only get better this season. You know, we had a good sort of half season out of him. You know, I think rather than if we're going to have all of this down the line anyway of him keep being linked away and we're going to lose him in 1 or 2 seasons, let's cash in now while we can get this value because surely we're not going to get much more for him. And if it is 85 million buyout clause, I think a chance to get a young, exciting talent like Cole Palmer with a good bit of money that we can reinvest and strengthen, you know, the team as a whole on top of the Rice money, just take it. Just take it at this point, I think. You know, and it seems like that's the idea because they are negotiating with City. So it seems like we set a price point and we're trying to.
I mean, this could be a deal that probably drags out throughout the winter. But look, he's in the squad for us tomorrow. I'm sure the away fans will be singing his name. And look, you don't know. Football's a funny game. You know, he might end up staying. But as you said, if we get the right money and we get a good player like Cole Palmer come in, I think it's a good deal all round. But I was like, from what I heard from like people from inside the club as well, it's nice to know that he's not kicking up a fuss. And he even said that he wants the best money wise for West Ham as well, which is a bit like what Declan done as well, really. So
yeah. I just wish Creswell was doing that as well. But it's what we'd have to do then is go and spend that on another player that has that creativity.
The thing is, if we get it done, I don't want it to be 2 days before the winter ends. I want it to be done so we've got plenty of time to, you know.
Well, a lot of people have been mentioning Elise from Crystal Palace. You know, that someone that I know that we was linked with him before, and we've been linked with Eze as well. You know, one of them players would be a good addition. You know.
Well, Elise's got he's got a buyout clause, isn't he? It's said to be between 35 and 40 million. So that would be, if we could get that, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think as Moyes said in his press conference today, I don't know if you see it, but he obviously said that, he spoke about obviously Ward-Prowse, Alvarez is done, Maguire looks like he's done. So he said like all these signings like London buses, they're all going to start coming at once. So for me, like I know that it's a shame that we ain't got Alvarez. I think Alvarez will be in the squad tomorrow. I think that's a bit of David Moyes' mind games that he likes to do. He won't start, but he might be on the bench.
No, apparently he's flying back to Holland or something. Apparently because he hasn't trained in quite a long time. That's, I think, the reason for it. So someone said, I don't know how true it is, but apparently he's on his way back to Holland now to sort some bits out and tie up some loose ends or something. Yeah,
well, it's a shame that he won't if he ain't involved tomorrow, because it would have been a big boost. But look, next week, if we can get Ward-Prowse, which is close, Maguire done, and maybe one more in. Imagine that going into a London derby next Sunday against Chelsea. 3 or 4 new signings potentially in the starting 11. It can give everyone a big boost, because it hasn't been a great summer transfer wise. There's been a lot of negativity around the fan base, which is fair enough. It was right, because we seem to. It feels like we've won the trophy and we should build on that, but we've gone backwards, because if we lose Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta in the same transfer window, and Scamacca as well, that's something none of us thought was going to happen. But sometimes these things happen, and it could work out better for the team, because we're bringing other players that can add a bit more and want to be there.
Yeah, it's how you respond to it. Do you know what I mean? And we've got to be efficient. And this is the problem. Like, if we had been more prepared, we could have had Alvarez in weeks ago. You could have had a pre-season with us if we're doing better prepared. And that's the unfortunate part.
As we said the other week, Dan, everybody knew 4, 5, 6 months ago that Rice was going to be leaving.
Yeah.
So surely they should have been eyeing up potential targets for the summer, well in advance. Once again, we've left everything to the last minute. But are we surprised? No.
Yeah, but you look around the Premier League, there's a lot of clubs have not really done that much. So it's always, people always sort of get their business done nearer the end of the window, which is, I don't like doing it like that. Some clubs do it right. They get it done before the summer, before the transfer, before pre-season, and they have a full pre-season. But yeah, look, the main thing for me as well is obviously we need to find a striker to replace Scamacca. Finding 20-goal a season strikers are rare, because we haven't had one for a very long time. So yeah, it's that's another thing that we need to look into, and obviously try to get in before the transfer window shuts.
Yeah. But as it stands, like, both of you would, take 90 million for Paqueta or less, and Cole Palmer, and sell him this summer for the right offer.
Personally, I'd love to keep him and sign Cole Palmer on a loan deal, but
that's not going to happen in an ideal world.
If we get 90 million plus Cole Palmer, or Cole Palmer's part of the deal, then I'd personally be happy with that. As much as I don't want to see him go, I think it's a good replacement, and it's a good bit of money as well.
The worry for me is there, and again, you got to take everything with a pinch of salt. But I see that there was talks about, if we sell Paqueta, we'll be replacing him with Scott McTominay. Now, whether you rate Scott McTominay or think he'll be a good signing, or what, he's not a replacement for Lucas Paqueta.
No, definitely not.
That
would
be awful.
Dan, calm down, Dan. You remember what happened the other week? Keep a lid on it. Keep a lid on it.
What's what?
McTominay.
Oh yeah. Listen,
listen. Look, I agree with Dan in that respect. Like, if you're talking about McTominay coming in to play where Rice played, I could see that. But to replace Paqueta, that's no way. It's just they're chalk and cheese as players. You know what I mean? Like, you can't replace him with McTominay. But yeah, we need to find Flair. So like, there's a lot of comments coming in with a few players that we've been linked with. Someone's just said there about Romelu Lukaku.
He's scored 15 to 20 own goals a season.
Yeah, he loved the goal against us, so it'd be nice to stop him scoring against us by signing him. But yeah, no, he's I don't know. It's
Let's get some. Speaking of comments, let's get some comments. There's a few comments. I'm going to play Phil. Put Phil, but a few people have sort of said this, that Moyes won't play Palmer. He's too young, which I understand the thought process behind that and the feelings. And past we've seen that. The report apparently has said that he sees him in the team with Bowen and him being on the right wing. So if that's true. And with the striker situation, when he says in the middle, I don't know if he means Bowen as a number 10 or Bowen up front or a false 9 scenario with Bowen. But I think that could be good. So hopefully that's true. And Moyes really does see him coming straight into the team, because I think he looks ready to me. He looks ready, and he adds that bit of youth and a bit of energy that we need, because we're an old team, really old.
Yeah, but like you say, a few seasons ago, we was counter-attacking side. Now we're just too slow in the build-up, aren't we? So we do need an injection of pace in there.
And we haven't really addressed that in the transfer window, because we haven't signed any pace, have we? We've signed more slow players, not necessarily bad players, but players that aren't particularly known for pace. So we need some of that around the side, I think. But yeah, completely agree, Miss Samurai. I did watch that Charity Shield game and that part, and yeah, he looked lively. Gary Lucas says we need a creative midfielder and a striker. Then I think we can go places. Add a left back to that one as well, Gary, or a wing back maybe if we're playing wing back. If we're playing wing back systems, maybe we need a right wing back as well. Not right. Not a fan of release clause or buyout clause. No, I mean neither, Matt.
That's the one thing Man City would probably do with Cole Palmer, is they do it with most of their youngsters. He's put a buyback clause in the contract, and I don't like all that, because he could come to us, have 2 or 3 great seasons, we'll fall in love with him, and then City go, come back, son. Here's your whatever buyback clause it is, 30, 40 million, and then we'll be back to square one again.
Yeah, I hate it. Like, if you sell someone a player, it should be their player. No, clauses and bits and pieces involved. It's just, that's it, their player. And then if you want them back, you negotiate for it. So yeah, I'm not just, oh shit, I lost a comment from the other Matt Powell. I can't remember what he said, but it was a good comment, and I've accidentally unstarred it. Shit. Sorry, Matt. It's all the Matts. I'm selecting all these Matts. I'll find it. What do you guys think of Balogun? I think there's potential there, but he's had one good season in France, and they want £40 million for him. And personally, I don't want to deal with Arsenal again.
I see 50 million. I mean, I don't think he's worth that. I think there's a lot better options out there that you can get for that sort of money. Not saying he ain't a good player, but yeah, I wouldn't. I'll be surprised if we went down that route.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they would with us as well. There'd be extra, trying to milk back as much money from the Rice deal as possible. They'd piss us about. I think we're just better off finding, value elsewhere. I just don't see the point in it, to be honest. What about you, Gray? How do you feel about Balogun?
I'll be honest, man. I don't really know too much about him, if I'm honest, but.
He played in under Will Still in France for.
Is he American? Is he American? He's American, isn't he?
Is he American or Canadian?
I don't know.
I was reading saying I think
he might be American. Yeah, he might be right.
I think he's Canadian.
Oh,
I was reading saying the other day, but so I've not seen him play, but
I found that.
If he played under that Will Still, who he got a good tune out of that side, so he's
that's the thing. You just don't know if it was a purple patch.
I'll bring him in.
So
I'll bring him in.
I found
he became American this year, so.
Oh, okay. He became American. He got his American citizenship. I reckon Cole Palmer will be England international with the next couple of seasons. I think that's a good shout.
Yeah,
Matt.
He's definitely got potential. He's obviously done well for the under-21s. He was part of the team that won the tournament during the summer. So, yeah, no, he'd be definitely be a good addition.
Barry Clark says if we sell Paqueta for 110 million, we should go get Eze and Elise from Palace. And that's what we was touching on earlier. Imagine that the Palace fans would have a meltdown.
I was just thinking that. Imagine how fuming they'll be because they don't like West Ham anyway, and selling they've lost Zaha. Imagine losing him too as well.
It's only fair because we gave him Tompkins and Kiyate. You know what I mean? So
I do like them, as Annalise say that.
Yeah, Moyes really wanted Eze a couple of seasons ago. That was his first choice before Benrahma.
It was Eze and Benrahma, wasn't it? And we ended up getting Benrahma. So the only thing that worries me, if them two did come in, you'd probably see Benrahma maybe leave the football club. Because I know he's been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. So that would be interesting as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in this transfer window.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Fofana could bring us to life. I think we should be absolutely going all out to sign him. I think it'd be quality in that midfield. Good old Geordie Toon for life, one of our regular neutral viewers, says, I like this channel. Good on his lads. Hence, I like West Ham so much in common with a Newcastle United fan base. Cheers, mate.
Funny enough, I watched the first episode of they've got that new Amazon Prime documentary in there. It's Newcastle.
Yeah.
I watched this first episode today. I love watching things like that, like behind the scenes and documentaries, and that it's mad. Like I think in the first episode it shows you how, like they signed the Anthony Gordon in January, and it shows you what goes on behind the scenes, and like it's good. Just like I love watching things like that. I know it's not for everyone, but I enjoyed it. It's good.
So it's on Prime.
Yeah.
I might watch that later. Actually.
So I saw a clip and it looked good. So some comments I've starred just for when we get to those subjects, Maguire and all of that stuff. But this brings us on to the next point. Matt Rainey says, James Ward-Prowse will take the 16 shirt, and some fans having a meltdown thoughts. I didn't know about this, but it ties into, obviously, Ward-Prowse potentially, he has completed the medical. He's passed the medical, so that should be all, announced soon. But I didn't know about him taking the 16 shirt. Is it a shirt you feel like should be retired?
No, it's a squad number, isn't it? And
we did retire Bobby Moore's shirt, but he was like once in a he was very special, and he passed away, in untimely circumstances. So if Mark Noble probably ain't got.
Mark Noble probably suggested it to him. Mark Noble went, take my shirt, because there's if you look at Ward-Prowse, if you look at his career, he's quite similar to Noble, really, because he's been at Southampton since he's a kid. And I can understand why their fans are sort of upset with him leaving, because it'd be like Mark Noble if he ever left us, when he played for us, during his career. So, but yeah, look, I don't care what number he wears, as long as he's playing well and scoring goals and assisting goals. I don't care what number he wears. He can put my phone number on the back of his shirt if he wants to. Don't bother me. I just want to see him do well, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that ain't really happy with this signing, but I think it's a good signing for us, and I think he's going to add quite a lot to our team. This is someone that I think he's a player that we've been missing. Someone like him.
Yeah, he's very, very good from dead ball situations as well, which was our strong point.
And became our weak point last season, didn't it?
Well, How many corners did you watch last season? We couldn't even beat the first man. And when was the last time you see us score a free kick? It's someone like him will be.
Get anything around the box, he's going to be on it, and good chance.
I think he'll do well, and I know that he's obviously passed his medical, and he's probably doing all the media stuff now. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was probably announced tomorrow. Once again, it's a shame that he's not going to be in the first team tomorrow or in the squad, but he's definitely going to be a good addition. And once again, he could make his debut next Sunday at home in front of our fans in a London derby, which you can't, welcome to West Ham.
I think it'll be one of them underrated signings. I look at that, it don't excite me, but I feel like it's going to go under the radar, and I think he's going to be one of them players that I really grow to love. And I sort of compared him to Snodgrass, like a better Snodgrass, and I mean that in a good way because I really loved Snodgrass at this
Yeah,
club.
everyone. And the one thing with like Snodgrass, and I think you'll get the same from Ward-Prowse, is that he'll work hard when he plays.
Yeah.
You know, and he'll give everything. And I think that having players like Alvarez around him, who I think Alvarez is just going to sit in that midfield and he's going to break up play. And like I said, I quite like it. I quite like that signing. I think it's a good signing, and I'm glad it's done. You know, because I thought if one deal was going to drag, it was going to be him. But he had a decent season for Southampton last year, personally, because I think he scored like 9 goals in like and a
Gary
few.
Lucas said he scored 10 last season.
Well, there you go then, even better.
Yeah.
I'm talking shit.
And
No, but the thing, I just don't. I know we said because I like Snodgrass. Like I say, I always give under. But the thing that used to disappoint me was our Snodgrass was a lot of the time he was used as a scapegoat.
The thing is, like, I
just hope that doesn't happen again.
I think, like, a lot of fans now, they love the foreign players, the exciting players, but sometimes you need the hard workers in there. I mean, if James Ward-Prowse was called Jose Waldo Perazio, the Italian international, they'd fucking all be loving him. Like, but it's, you know what you're going to get from him. And as I said, I'm looking forward to seeing him in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to address a weakness that we've got right now in terms of set pieces. He's also got those leadership capabilities he can bring to the table. Seems like a great lad. And he's got to prove it in a West Ham shirt, that he's got what it takes. And we get the right player in as well. You got through balls as well that he'll be threading through if you get the right striker up front. So, I think it's going to be a decent thing signing. I just think all the people that are going mad about the shirt number, just remember, obviously, Bobby Moore's number weren't retired straight away. Many people wore the 6. And Ruddock bloody wore it, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think that Ruddock wore it. I think the last person to wear it was obviously Matty Upson. So that's how bad it was. They had to retire it.
yeah, exactly. So
but you can't keep retiring numbers. Obviously retire Nobles. Then you're going to retire the number 10 in a few years because of Di Canio, and you'll have no squad numbers left. So obviously the only other shirt number that's retired is Dylan Tombidis' shirt, which is fair enough, and I think that was a great tribute from the football club. But no, like it's like us retiring 41 for Declan Rice, like when Birmingham retired Jude Bellingham's number when he left when he was 17. Like I don't get all that. Like wear the 16 if he gives us as much passion and love for the football club as Noble, then we've got a good player on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just I think a lot of people were, before we'd even got this close, and when we were linked with him, a lot of people was comparing him to Noble as it was. And it is just funny that, all these Noble comparisons that have come about, he's, been given the 16. So
yeah, do you know what someone's just said there? And I was going to mention that about potentially Flynn Downs could be going the opposite way, which I'm very surprised with. I mean, I didn't think, unless we've got someone else coming in that we don't know, because I can't see us letting Downs go without bringing someone else in as well. Because you can't go into the season having Ward-Prowse, Souček, and Alvarez. You need at least 4. So I don't know. I find that a bit weird. And if it is, I wouldn't let him go now. I'd wait until sort of the end of the window or something like that, just to make sure we do get someone else in to replace Downs. Who when I mean replace Downs, is someone who's going to be a starter. Like someone like Fofana could come in. Maybe they might look at McTominay again. You know what he loves McTominay, so he might be an ideal replacement for Downs. But it's a weird one. I bet Scott's crying.
Yeah, exactly. the Rice replacement.
Right, crying into his beer.
Red 5 for 499 super chat. Thank you as always, mate. We really appreciate it. Honestly, don't feel like you always have to send super chat and get your comment read, but we appreciate all the same. Is a defensive 5 at the best team built around Souček and based on long balls, set pieces with JWP and Maguire, has Moyes evolved into his final form? It does feel like that, doesn't it? Now you'll see my final form. It is listen, it's
Like
going
the
to
end
be
of level bus
horrendous.
there,
It'll be awful to watch, but if it's effective, I can live with it. If it's
Listen, we'd all take 38 1-0 wins, wouldn't we? We'd all take boring 1-0 wins. But no, look, we want to see a little bit of flair and entertainment. But if he can get that mix right, then, you know, like when we went a couple of seasons ago, we could go defensive and it was effective. But we still had that little bit of flair when you had like Lingard in his 4 hours and all that, Bowen, you know. So if we can just get that mix, I think like with Harry Maguire as well coming in, and obviously James Ward-Prowse, it's two voices in the dressing room, two people that have been leaders at their football club, and I think we've lost a lot of that over the past couple of seasons, especially losing our captain this season. So we're going to need a bit of that in the change room as well. So if we can get the right signings in, I know that a lot of people, there's a lot of our fans that I've been seeing on Twitter, literally just writing the season off before it's even started, like tipping us to be relegated. I think actually some of them actually want us to be relegated, but it's
absolutely. And this again, I'm starring some comments that we'll get to when they come. So yeah, like Steve, thank you for your super chat, mate. I'm going to read that out as we get to that Bournemouth game. So I'll read some more comments on James Ward-Prowse, and then we'll get to a bit of Maguire. I read out Barry Clark's one. So yeah, I'll read that one out when we get to the Maguire stuff. That's back on Paqueta. If we sell Paqueta, I would use the money and get someone like Martial from United scores cost basis. I'm making a conscious effort to read more Facebook comments now after last week. I'm seeking them out because you weren't here, Gray, but someone did complain we focused too much on the YouTube comments and didn't read enough Facebook ones out. So I'm making a conscious effort. James Ward-Prowse is better than Pirlo, says Paulie Walnuts. Might be a slight exaggeration.
There's a claim.
He's taken the number 16 from the Cockney Pirlo, so
yeah, there you go. Ken Ammers, James Ward-Prowse was 8 at Southampton. He's been number 16 and 4. Only available number at West Ham is 16. Lads, that's probably why I took it. Yeah, probably. I think people probably read a lot into these things.
The thing is, numbers are special to players. Like Alvarez in his interview, that he's taken the number 19 shirt, and that's because that was the number that his dad gave him, like when he was younger, and he's always just kept that. Like you see with like obviously Declan Rice has kept the number 41 when he's gone to Arsenal. Some players just have that number, and if he's had 16 before, maybe it's a number that is special to him. So
yeah, that's it. I feel James Ward-Prowse and Maguire would equal some set piece goals.
Yeah. I think that's true.
James Ward-Prowse scored 10 goals in the Premiership last season. So, yeah, as long as he can chip in with goals. And this thing, we might not get a 20-goal a season striker, but we're going to need goals by committee. You know, we're going to need people chipping in with goals all around the pitch because it is hard to find that.
Yeah, it was the thing, Dan. Like the first season we qualified for Europe and some of the season after, you know, we had players scoring from all over the pitch. We weren't relying on one player, but
yeah. No,
so that's it. You know, it's dried up a bit elsewhere on the pitch, isn't it?
Danny Jordan says Snodgrass is not on the same level as James Ward-Prowse. And I said James Ward-Prowse is a better Snodgrass. He reminds me of Snodgrass, but he's a better version. No disrespect to Snodgrass, because I thought he was a great professional for us. And I didn't know. I've been focusing more on this and not really seen much of the game, even though it's there. But I didn't notice De Bruyne is off injured. Paqueta off to City, so that might push him to spend the money. You know.
Well, the thing is, De Bruyne got injured in the Champions League final, and his first appearance was when he came on as a sub last week. So I was surprised that he actually started tonight. So that might be an occurring injury. So
yeah. So that could only push that deal through, you know. We'll read this. We'll get to this topic shortly, actually. Robert Lake, thanks for that. We're definitely going to discuss that. So here we go. We're going to talk about Maguire because apparently personal terms have been agreed with Maguire, which means we've got to finish some things up with the club, do a medical, all that business. But this is an interesting one, and I had a bit of disagreement with a few people about this. Matty Smith, what's your thoughts on Maguire captain if he signs? Not normally a fan, with no obvious option. It could happen, right? Now, I was pretty against this. Kevin Nolan, yes, did come in and he got the armband straight away, but I feel like it's different circumstances because he's coming into a side that had just been relegated. You know, we're on the floor. He's doing us a favor, stepping down to the championship to help us come out of it. We'd let good few players go, and it was in that situation. Whereas, what a goal! And the situation now is we've just won a European trophy. So the players feel a bit vindicated and justified in that. And then you've got this other guy coming in now, sticking the armband on. And, he hasn't really earned it in a West Ham shirt, to be honest.
The thing
for players to listen to him.
Well, the thing is, as Ryan said before, Dan, you don't want just one. You want 11 captains out there. You want 11, 11 leaders.
Yeah,
you don't want to put it all on the shoulders of one player. You need big characters all through the squad.
The thing is, with when you're a captain, it comes with pressure, and I think that me personally, I think that Bowen or Aguerd could be good captains for us, but they might not want the armband. And if someone like Maguire wants to come in and he wants to take on that responsibility, for me that says a lot about him because he's obviously he could come in and he's obviously been a captain for United. I think he could do the role well. And sometimes a fresh voice and listening to it's only like a new manager coming in and just and taking control of the changing room. But look, I think if the players are happy with it, if Moyes was to say, look, Maguire, you're going to come in, you're going to be my captain, and the players are happy with it and they get behind it, then I'm not going to slag him off. I'm not going to, it's down to them at the end of the day.
But that's I know, but that's a lot of ifs. You know what I mean? Like if everything's in ideal and lined up, then you go, okay, the players are all giving their blessing. There's no problems there and all of that. But and people say, there's no options. There's no options for captains in our team. I said Bowen. I said Soufal, Fornals, Aguerd. Like at least you get someone that potentially at least be a transitional captain. You have that transitional captain. And then if Maguire comes in and he hits the ground, he's becomes a mainstay in the side week in, week out. He's playing for the team. He's putting good performance in. He's showing leadership on the pitch. Then you have that transition of going, you're a good captain. You have that. I have a lot of doubts over his quality as a captain from his time at Man United. I personally, if I had to pick a new player coming in to be captain, I think Ward-Prowse would be a better captain. Like I would rather have someone existing at the club have the armband, but out of the two, I would give the armband to Ward-Prowse. I think Maguire now has just got to focus on getting his confidence up, and like you said, that pressure. I think it's pressure. He's been dealing with pressure and struggling with it at Man United, and I think he could do with not being captain and just focusing on getting on that pitch and rehabilitating his career, So I just think it's a bad idea all round, personally. It could be brilliant.
I remember when obviously Lucas Neal joined the club and Rio Coca was captain at the time. And I think Lucas Neal, if I remember rightly, I think his first game for us as captain was when we lost 4-3 at home to Spurs. And after that, I think the players were begging him to be captain. And then he was captain the season after. And every player that's played under Lucas Neal said he was a great captain. And he had no connection with West Ham. He had he was getting slated a lot when he joined us because he could have joined Liverpool, who were in Champions League, but he chose to join us all because of money. But he got on and he was a great player for us. And sometimes, I agree with you. I think Maguire should just come in, get his head down and just get on with it. And get back to being the Harry Maguire that we know he can be, because he is a decent player, like on his day. We've seen it for England. He's never let England down, really. But when you play for a team like Man United and their fan base and the media, they've just got so much highlights. And Declan Rice will find this out for Arsenal. If you make a mistake for West Ham, it's going to go under the radar. They're not going to show it. You make a mistake for Arsenal, they're going to show it on repeat on Match of the Day. They're going to want to bring him down because that's what our media do. They don't.
But I think that because of that, if he comes to West Ham, I think that will come with him. I think if he makes mistakes for West Ham, that will then go and the highlights and everyone in the spotlight will still be on him.
The thing is that I think the problem for Maguire was he was never a Man U type of player. Because they like to play out from the back. He's obviously not comfortable doing that. So he's the defender that complements the ball playing centre halves. You know, like you Aguero, who can bring it out from the back. He'll complement that, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And it's crazy that he's not a Man U type player yet. They spent 80 million on him. How bad?
Yeah, and that's the one thing. I mean, price tags are never a player's fault, are they? And it was a lot of pressure on him at the time. You know, Solskjaer wanted to get him. They paid 80 million for him. You know, it's one of them things. He was always. It's a bit like Jack Grealish as well. When he went for 100 million, straight away everyone's waiting for him to make a mistake, saying he's not good enough. And then, but the thing is, the difference with Grealish, he just got his head down and worked hard, and he's just won the treble. So all them people that were doubting sort of Grealish, you know what I mean? All he's got to do is just get his medals out. So I want it to work for Maguire. Any player that joins our club, I want it to work for him. Of course I do. I don't want anyone to ever come in and fail. Even if it's a player that I didn't like, as soon as he signed that contract and held that shirt up, I'd get behind him. It's like any manager as well. You know, if Moyes goes, whoever comes in, even if it ain't my choice, I'll get behind them. Because
absolutely. Yeah, same for me. Like I said, I've been against this signing of Maguire. You know, I think short term he'll be good under Moyes, but long term I have my doubts. But like I said, I'll be fully behind him and want him to, because it's the best for the club. But yeah, I just think, look, we look at special circumstances like Nolan and Neil, you know, getting the armband quickly, but you know, it's very rare special circumstances. I just think ideally, if you can, promote from within. Give the players there you'll probably see it happen at Arsenal as well. I mean, Odegaard's the captain now, but it wouldn't surprise me if next season Declan Rice is captain. You know, but at least he's going to get that opportunity to earn it, isn't he? Because if he has a shit season and he doesn't prove himself or doesn't show leadership, well, then they don't give it to him. But if he comes in straight away,
most of the signings that David Moyes has made has never really sort of let us down, really, like in his second spell. We're not talking about Hugo. But you look at like Lingard and Dawson, you know, people didn't want them. And I was, not so much Lingard, I was actually happy when we signed Lingard, but Dawson, everyone sort of laughed at it. We all did. But he turned out to be one of the players that we was gutted when he left. And as I was saying, if Maguire can come in and he gets his head down, he works hard, you know, he wins the fans over, he gives everything on the pitch, our fan base will take to him.
Yeah,
our fan base will get behind him.
Just come in without the pressure of captains from the day dot, and like you said, get a chance to earn that. And yeah, like I said, the fans, if he gets stuck in,
if he gives 100%, the fans will love him.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, and I think it's going to be like there's going to be that scrutiny on him, but yeah, he's just got to keep his head down and stick to it. And I think under Moyes, he works. He's a Moyes type player. Apparently, it looks like the bid has been accepted. I haven't seen anything about that. Obviously, it's been on, but
the Maguire bid was accepted the other day. What they're trying to work out,
and the bid have been agreed.
Yeah, what they're trying to work out is his release package from Man United, because I think they're going to subsidise some of his wages.
Yeah, they're talking about 11 million, and I think it's half is being paid by West Ham and half is being paid by Man United as like a signing on bonus, you know, which is staggering. Yeah,
so that's what they're trying to work out. But once he gets the all clear, I don't think there's going to be any issues with him joining. Apparently, someone's just mentioned it as well there, that he spoke to Declan Rice about us, and Declan Rice just obviously give us rave reviews. You know, whatever you think of Declan Rice, like he obviously loves the football club, so anyone
Well,
asked
I'll
him,
reserve judgment on that when I see Maguire play. If he's a disaster, then I'll be cursing Rice. If he's brilliant,
yeah,
I'll be thanking him.
that could be Rice's parting gift to us.
Yeah,
Fucking-
yeah. But it's a good point. I know, like, a lot of people do compare him to Dawson in terms of players that, you know, fans were skeptical about and came in and exceeded expectations. But I think that's a good point. Is the thing is with Dawson, he was so cheap, so the
Yeah.
risk was limited. And I think the
Things
fact
you
that he
think
was cheap, what you got for him. Say if Dawson was 40 odd million, right? We might. I mean, we wouldn't think he was shocking, but we might look at the signing a little bit different. Like, okay, well, we maybe weren't a £40 million player, did a decent job, but you know, Maguire's coming in at 40 million, big money. You're expecting a lot more from him, you know, than a Dawson.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I think the reason a lot of fans were sort of at, you know, not really wanting Dawson. We signed him from a Watford side that had just gone down with a bit of a whimper, really.
Well, the thing is,
We
yeah,
thought, you know, it's
I do
he
get
came in, going to be.
I do get that Dawson was only 2 million. I understand that. I think Maguire. I think the fee for Maguire is 30 million. So, but look, Maguire could come in for 30 million, and we could be thinking, "No, it's too much." But he could fucking get back to the player we know he can. We could think, "Fucking hell, we've had a bit of a touch here." Like we get 3-4 good years out of him. But it's all like, as you said, ifs and buts. We don't know. We can't predict the future. We don't know how any player is going to play. So I hope it works out well for him. Obviously,
Yeah. No, of course. Like, so we'll see. Like, because he's good for England, but international football obviously is a bit different to week in, week out. But hopefully, we can see a bit more of the England one. Maguire. There was a comment. Trini Hammer. Let's get some comments on Maguire. So it'll be a three at the back if you want to give Maguire a proper chance. He's useless in the back four. Now, I'd be interested because I think that's a prevailing thought. But did Leicester play a three at the back when he was there? Dolbster, if you're there, remind us, refresh our memories of how he performed and what's in the system you played. But Dolbster's got a comment here. He says, I said from day one, he joined Man United, he was never captain material and stood by it since and have been proven right. Okay, so he's high defensive line exposed him. Dan tweeted back to me the other day. Yeah, I remember you saying that about the captain material, and maybe that's it. And maybe he can just do without being captain. Maybe that's just not for him. It doesn't make him any less of a good player. Some players are captains, some ain't.
Like we said, without the pressure of captaincy, the weight's off his shoulders. He may flourish.
But I'm sure
May be revitalised. You know, like Dawson did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I'm sure Leicester played sort of a back four on with counter attacking being their sort of main threat. But you'll have to remind me, Dolbster, of that. Maguire will sign. No one else wants him, and Man U want reimbursement. They're even paying £6 million to get him off the wage bill settlement. I think Everton were actually interested in Maguire, but there's no way they could afford him. I did see that Everton did want him, but like I said, for someone that, you know, there seems to be a bit of a lack of interest in Maguire from a lot of teams, but maybe not a lot of teams are playing like how we play, that defensive style that can afford him. I think the teams that could afford him, he probably won't suit. But us, Everton, you know, I'm trying to think of other teams who play shit football like us.
You know what, Ray's just made. I'll just quickly get out. He's made a great thingy there because he said that Bowen said he was a great captain at Hull, and we forget about that Maguire and Bowen played together at Hull. So look, it's my personal choice is I'd like to give it to Jared Bowen, the captaincy, or Aguerd. I think they're too good. They could be too good. Captains.
I don't know why when I said Bowen for captain, like so many people were shocked, like I just called their mum a see you next Tuesday or something. like I don't know. The thing is, a lot of the time you're looking at people, you look at players, and you might not say in their current role, oh, they're not, you know, they're not presenting themselves like a captain, they're not shouting, not giving orders. Well, they're not the captain now. Like you rise into the role. you know, when you take that armband, with nothing to say that when Bowen takes that armband, he doesn't add those elements to his game, and he takes that leadership and responsibility, being one of the senior players now, to come out and do that role and be more vocal and talk to people and lift. I think he's only growing, I think, in that department, and I think he can definitely develop into a good captain. I think, you know, there's potential in him. Personally, I don't know why.
Definitely, mate.
So many people are against it. I read that. James Ward-Prowse is the noble of Southampton. I'd have him as captain. And then the opposite side, Maguire as a captain is a no-brainer.
Yeah, do you know what? This is one thing I love about like football, and this is one thing I love about like the comments and that. There's so much people like have different views and things like that, and it's not like at the end of the day we've all got an opinion, you know what I mean? And it's, if people think Maguire be good, you shouldn't slate them for thinking that. If people think Bowen will be good, you know, it's all about opinions. But at the end of the day, it's down to the club and David Moyes.
Yeah, there's room for healthy debate. You know, that's what we love in football.
And I love. There's nothing better than a healthy debate. And I've had it before on YouTube comments and Twitter, and it always ends with, yeah, no, fair play, mate. You know what I mean? And that's how it should be.
Yeah,
when it gets
no one's opinion's right or wrong. That's what it is. It's an opinion.
Yeah. When it gets personal, you know, that's when the conversation should stop. Because
hey, look, if we all thought the same way, we're boring well, wouldn't it?
Pepe's going mad at Haaland for some reason. He's just scored 2 goals. He's going mad at him, and then the camera's there capturing it, and Pep gets the camera and swipes the camera out the way. Fucking hell, the guys, he's got high standards. You got to give him that. But
he's under pressure already. They've only scored 2 in 45 minutes. It's not good enough.
Exactly.
Only half the game in. What's going on?
He scored 51 goals last season.
But yeah, Paqueta for captain if he stays. Yeah. It's,
do you know what? That could be a thing. You could turn around and say, look, stay, be our captain. You know what I mean? But I don't know if he's got that. Do you know what? If you're talking about new signings coming in, I think Alvarez could be a good signing. He's got the fight and fucking passion. You know, he looks like, I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to watching him play.
Did you see that video package that Ajax done for him, like leaving? It was amazing.
I'll tell you what was even better was the video package that we done, and it was a little dig at Declan Rice with Alvarez saying East London is my home now. Because
I didn't see that. That's brilliant.
Declan Rice obviously said North London is home now. But no, there was. I think the media team had a little bit of a
little cheeky. Fair play to him. I didn't see that. But they got Ajax. They got like his family and everyone just talk. It was just emotional, and that made me feel like, okay, we're getting a special player, and we're getting a special person. It says a lot.
There was a picture that came out today. I don't know if it was on his Instagram, but it was him on the side of the picture of his mum and dad, and his dad was proper giving it the Hammers sign, like proper. Like I think he's going to be a fan's favourite.
Yeah,
really looking forward to seeing him play.
Oh, definitely, and he seems like a right bastard. Do you know what I mean? He's just one of them fucking piss boiling players.
And we
that
need
bit of grit, that bit of grit we need in now.
Yeah.
Let's just hope he ain't flinging his arms in the air when it ain't going his way. Like
no, exactly. Player. I love that bit of him when he gives the double biceps to one of the opposite players. Like, it's fucking brilliant, mate. Yeah. Steve WHU Bell says, Dan, that was probably part of persuading him to come talk about Maguire. Feels it's harsh on players such as Aguerd, Bowen, Soufal even. Yeah, I agree, mate. I think that does feel a bit harsh. Phil Brown says Aguerd for the armband. It's a shout. Captain would have been Creswell. Yeah, I think we've dodged the bullet there. Imagine we nearly did put the armband on him. Imagine that. And then he goes and fucking does that. Oggy should be club captain. Yeah,
that's another good shout, because I agree with, like, because a captain is not only on the pitch, it's off the pitch as well. Like, they have to go and do all this other stuff. And I think that's where Declan Rice got a little bit distracted last season, because obviously the season before, Noble was doing all the off the field stuff, and Rice was in the team more. So having someone like Ogbonna be the club captain, where he has to go and do all the meetings and all things like that, and just let someone concentrate on the team, I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, definitely. I love Oggy. You know, he's been at his club a long time now, and he takes players under his wing. I think that is a good shout. Moyes will bring good out of Maguire, and yeah, it's still an honour to be a captain for any club. Yeah, completely agree, mate. And £2 super chat from GP. That's a zippy profile picture. I was at cheers, mate. My fave channel on YouTube. Thank you so much, mate. We really appreciate that. So right, let's get into this, and then we'll get into this last topic. Then we'll get into a bit of preview for the Bournemouth game, and then we'll get into your super chat, Steve, because that's going to tie into it. But Robert Lake here said Souček getting a new deal 4 years. Now that came as a bit of a surprise to me. That sort of came out of nowhere. Souček getting a 4-year deal, right? How do you guys feel about Souček? 4-year contract, West Ham United.
Look, there's no denying. I think we all as a person, we all like Souček. We all love Souček. He comes across as such a nice bloke. You know, last season he was off the pace. So, but look, if he can get back to the form that he showed when we first signed him, and maybe Declan Rice leaving might be good for Souček in a way, because getting other players around him, he might benefit from it. But yeah, look, a 4-year deal. I was surprised, like everyone. I didn't see that coming. But look, there's no denying he's a great person. And do you know what? Whatever he goes on to do, I don't think he'll ever top winning that trophy in his home country, you know, in front of his family. And that was a brilliant moment for him and Soufal as well. So, but yeah, I just hope that he can get back to the Souček that we know.
Yeah, like I say, I think he's, you know, but when he first signed for us, he played a bit further forward, and he, you know, the last sort of 18 months, he sort of had to play a little bit deeper. So, hopefully, we'll see a bit more of him in the opposition box like we did the first season. You know, causing a bit of mayhem from set pieces.
It's a weird, because I do just retweet that. I do, like you said, right, absolutely love him as a personality at the club. He seems like a wonderful bloke. Yeah, and he's just, you know, I mean, he's someone again who gives everything in that shirt. He will fight tooth and nail. You're never going to get less than 100% from Thomas Souček. It's and that's never in doubt for me. It's just his ability that I doubt. As a midfielder, I don't think he does enough when it comes to like just progressing the ball.
I think a lot of last season when we sat in the stands watching him, it was just the game was just passing him by too quick, too much, and he didn't look like he was getting involved. But I'm surprised. There was a lot of games last season where I looked at his stats after the game, and he was always top of some of them stats. And I'm thinking to myself, am I watching a different person? Like, do I need to move my seat closer? Because I'm thinking to myself, I didn't see him do that. But yeah, look, as you said, he'll give everything, you know, and I just hope that if he can get the right players around him in midfield, like Alvarez and maybe Fofana, maybe Ward-Prowse and Alvarez and Souček, you never know. They could form a good partnership in there, and he could have a great season.
Yeah, I think with him, with Souček, right, he can put a tackle in, and he can, you know, give you some block the ball. He can defend corners. The problem what happens when he puts these tackles in or intercepts these balls is he doesn't really go and then start up another attack. It's just sort of slowing down the opposition. So when it comes to his defensive side of his game, and then in his offensive side of his game, his passing is really poor. It takes him some time to actually, you know, get the ball and look and, you know, actually pass the ball. And then it's got to be, he can't do any sort of lengthy pass, and then he can't really dribble with the ball either.
I've seen him in games not even hit a 5-yard pass or hit it straight out of play, but then I've seen him defend corners, and some of his headers have seen us through games. So,
well, this is it, isn't it? Like, is it worth having a player on the pitch in midfield occupying a midfield position for defending corners and attacking corners?
I'll tell you what, if we have Maguire, Zuma, Aguerd and Souček back in our box for corners, I don't think we're going to concede many headed goals next season with them nuts.
You might as well have him at centre back. Like if it,
yeah, look, I've said that before. I think he can revert to a centre back. I think he's got that in his locker, like you said about Tilo Kehrer, that he could drop into midfield. I think that he could do that. So yeah, I mean, it could be an option for Souček, but look, I don't think there's any West Ham fan out there that would want Souček to foul as a player, because we all agree that he's an unbelievable person and he's always got a smile on his face. You know, I've never seen a player put his head in as much since we lost like James Collins. Like he's always got his head wrapped where he's had his head cut. You know,
he still smiles.
Yeah, it gives his all for the team. So let's just hope that we can get the Souček back that we were seeing 2-3 seasons ago.
Well, I think the thing is, I don't think Souček has gotten worse as a player. I just think in how we utilize him, he still couldn't really pass the ball. Still couldn't really run with the ball, but them late runs into the box were really effective at the time. Like it was catching teams out, and he has a decent shot on him.
He's done that quite a few times in pre-season as well, late runs into the box, and I think he got himself a couple of goals during pre-season. So
yeah, so it's like, do you? I remember on a Friday night pint, I think it must have been a year ago or more. I remember when I said I'd just stick him up front, and with our lack of striking options at the moment, I remember everyone fucking thought I was mad. But I think with our lack of striking options, we might as well give it a chance, because if he can't do much else other than score goals, right? But you know, he runs and runs and runs, and he's got that ability, and he's usually highest for running stats in the Prem. I don't think he would be a bad option in the Moyes system up front. I really don't.
It could be the check out the Carroll.
Yeah, like imagine Ward-Prowse whipping in
without the injuries.
Ward-Prowse, Thomas Souček. That's a recipe for goals in this Moyes system. I really think so. Like, I just think midfield, for what you want out of midfielders, you know, we've got Alvarez there, who's going to be doing the defensive work. If he plays next to, depending on who's going to play next to him, whether it's going to play a 3 with like Ward-Prowse and Paqueta, or we sign like a Fofana that's more box to box. Like, I don't see where Souček fits in our midfield. I really don't. So, yeah, maybe
this year he's going to be more of a not a fringe player, but more of a squad player than a starting. But then if that's how they would see him, why give him a 4-year deal just to be a
that's so weird
to be a bench player? So
that is so strange. It's so strange. I don't get that. It's all giving him, like maybe like 2 or something. If you go, do you know what? We see you as part of the squad. Moyes seems to love him. Obviously, he's played. You know, Souček was awful last season. Moyes kept picking him. So, yeah, I say try out a different position.
And to be fair to Souček, if it wasn't for his shit touch in the final, Paqueta might never have got that ball and played it through to Bowen. So,
yeah.
If Souček could control a ball, we might not be European champions.
There you go. I'd be interested to see what he's like as a bench player, like coming off the bench late in the game, whether it's, defending leads or chasing down again, and chucking everything into the box and long ball. And you have Maguire, from corners and Souček. Like that option of him as that type of player, Gray, I think you might be on site as a squad player. That could be good. Just that little bit of X factor, that little something different, come off the bench.
Yeah. It could be like 20 minutes to go, you're level, or you're chasing a game. You want to,
not only
cause a bit of chaos in the opposition box.
As you said, like he's always starting games, so maybe dropping him to the bench. Sometimes players need that in their career. They need that kick up the arse, and then they work even harder to get back into the starting 11. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, obviously, we don't know next season. We're going to be playing potentially a different system, a different way. Maybe he's a little bit more suited to how we're going to play next season. And maybe in this back 5, maybe he fits into there somehow. We'll have to see. I'll give him a chance. I'll get some comments on Souček, then we'll go into the Bournemouth game a bit. Miss Amaret, can't knock his work ethic and hope he comes good again. Yeah, absolutely hope he comes good. Robert Lake says, sorry, lads, he is terrible with exclamation marks. Trini Hammer says, Souček got disjointed by Rice's attempts to be more attacking. That was a bit of a prevailing theory. And Phil Brown says, it'd be okay if Souček could pass the ball 5 yards. Kind of what you said, Ryan. That really doesn't help, especially if you're a counter-attacking team. That used to frustrate me. You need to move the ball quickly and decisively. It would get to Souček and he would stop and look and then have to wait and just to make a pass and often fuck it up. That's the big problem.
The thing is, if you're playing counter-attacking football, it's got to be quick and it's got to be accurate.
Yeah, I just see that video you were talking about Haaland. Someone just sent it to me.
Yeah,
Pep Guardiola. I'll tell you another funny video I see as well. Obviously, Harry Kane's in Germany. He was in the back of this car, and he was in a car with all these German people, and he looked like he'd been kidnapped. He just looked so lost, Harry Kane, bless him. But that's another one that I didn't see happening, to be honest.
No,
I did think he was going to go, but
he's finally free. He's free from Tottenham.
You know what? The mad thing is, if he completes the transfer in a certain time, he can play in the Super Cup tomorrow. So potentially in his first game for Bayern Munich, he could win a trophy.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious to see.
I still think he's going to go back to Tottenham one day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe when he's.
I just thought that he might stay at Tottenham this season and then he can go anywhere he wants, but.
Yeah, well, I think Spurs sort of called his bluff, and it was like, look, we've accepted the bid, so you either go,
Well, he went to get on the plane this morning, didn't they? And they stopped him getting on the plane. So yeah,
I don't know why anyone does.
I've read something that apparently the Man U were thinking of putting a bid in or something like that. So.
Spurs are just Daniel Levy, such an honourable bastard to deal with. I know our club still do business with him. Honestly, I can't stand the bloke. Souček can't string a pass together. Love is a man, passing so poor. Technical ability of a breeze block. Lovely fella, but incapable of forward play. So, well put there. Phil Brown was on Alvarez. Was nice to hear before Alvarez arrived. Pablo texted him to welcome into the club. And for now, if he was someone that was definitely going to be regularly in the side, I wouldn't mind seeing him captain because he gives you everything. I think he's a lovely bloke. He's well liked in the club.
He loves the club.
I don't think he'd be a bad shout. Don't know about you guys.
I love 4-0.
Yeah, and I just want to see him.
We love him.
I just hope he's used more centrally this season to his strengths.
Well, when we signed him, he played more centrally.
Yeah, exactly.
When we signed him, so maybe.
Yeah, no, that's it, mate. I mean, this sort of ties into the next question. The Bournemouth game we'll touch on. Steve WHU Bell. Oh, my camera's gone. With a $4.99 super chat. I know it's off topic, lads, but who do you think will get the captain's armband tomorrow? Well, Steve, now it's on topic because we'll be talking about this now. Who's going to be the captain? We'll talk about the game, but the captain's armband. What's going on there?
It'll be interesting, won't it? Because obviously, I'm trying to think who's been captain during pre-season. Aguerd was obviously captain. Souček's been captain. So I don't know. I think
Aguerd might get it.
I think no. Do you know what? I think he might give it to Souček tomorrow. I think he might give it to Souček because he was. Yeah, I think Souček might be captain tomorrow. I've got a feeling that he'll give it to him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, or Bowen, as he's just. Obviously been on fire in pre-season. Yeah, anyone, yeah. If Craig agrees with you there about Souček as captain, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Obviously, whoever it is, I don't know whether that, it will just be for that game or we'll get an official decision on who the captain is. maybe this does kind of say that maybe he is leaning towards making a Ward-Prowse or a Maguire captain, and that's why we haven't picked one out yet. We haven't got a permanent captain.
Yeah, I mean, look, Premier League season's back tomorrow. Well, it's started tonight, but for us, it starts tomorrow. We ain't got a great record on opening days. I think we've got the most losses. I think we've got 15 defeats on opening day. So, look, Bournemouth are obviously. I think they've got quite a few players missing. I don't think Alex Scott's available. I think Ryan Fredericks is out. I think they've got a couple of other players out as well. There's a couple of late fitness tests for them. But look, it's their first home game, new manager, first game of the season. First game of the season's always throw up crazy results, don't they? So
yeah, except everyone's got to work their way into it.
Yeah, I don't even know how we're going to set up tomorrow. That's the thing. Usually, you know how we're going to set up, but I just don't know. I just don't know what we're going to do. I mean, Mabama obviously ain't involved in the under-21s tonight because he's going to be there tomorrow. I mean, will he start him up top? Antonio, is it going to be Antonio? Will it be Antonio in Ings? You know, I don't know. I just don't know how we're going to set up for this game tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going there. Obviously, season's back now. It's a refresh button. Forget what happened last season. We've got to improve. You know, so let's get off to a great start. And as I said the other day on that preview we've done, if we win tomorrow, we're in a better position than we was this time last year because we've got more points than we did opening day of the season last year. So, and look, it's going to be good to have the Premier League football back. I just hope we can get off to a winning start because we've got a tough few games coming up. We've got Chelsea next week. Then we travel to Brighton where we don't get results. Then we've got City, Liverpool.
And we've got one of our old bogey teams, Luton, fairly early on as well, haven't we? I always seem to remember we had quite a poor record against them.
Yeah. It is. It's not been a happy hunting ground over the years. But you're right. It's like this is probably a game that I'm going into. It's just the most unknown game that I can remember of just not knowing what we're going to do, how we're going to set up, how we're going to look. I'm very excited just to see that starting lineup, and I'm sure we'll all look at him. We'll go, well, some of us, what the fuck's he doing? Why is he playing? Whatever. But you know, all that matters is whatever that lineup is, they go out and we give a good performance and hopefully come away with a good result. You know, and
we played them towards the end of last season, didn't we? We won 4-0 there, which was a surprise result because I didn't see that coming. But you know, I think we've got quite a good record against Bournemouth over the last few games, and I think David Moyes has never lost to them. I think he's won 3, drawn 2. So I don't even think Bournemouth have scored in their last 3 games against us as well. So look, it's a fresh, brand new season. It's new for them. As I said, they've got a new manager. He'll want to hit the ground running straight away with a win. You know, we just need to go there. And as you said, if we turn up and we put in a performance, you know, get a nice little away day win, nice little Ben Rama penalty or a Ben Rama for good performance, get him involved. It'd be nice to get off because it's been a lot of negativity during pre-season, especially with some of the results against like Leverkusen and the other one, you know. But if we win the opening game of the season, no one's going to remember pre-season. Who gives a shit about pre-season results?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if Paqueta plays with the deal going on, because if he gets injured, it jeopardizes that. But I think I can see him playing because at the end of the day, obviously, there's talks. We don't really seem to be, you know, really keen to sell him.
He'll play tomorrow. I think
he'll play because that game, and if you're David Moyes, you know, you're looking and going, well, look, I'm going to play the best players I have available, you know. So I can't see, you know, leaving him out in case he gets injured. I don't think we're that fussed about selling him this summer. And, you know, it's like, well, if the right offer comes in, yeah, okay, we'll sell him. But if we don't sell him, it's not the end of the world. So I think we're going to play him. And until that that right offer comes in, he'll continue to play for West Ham. You know, it'd be shooting ourselves in the foot to go away to Bournemouth and not play our best player, because you know, in my opinion, that's what he is. He's our best player. And
listen, mate, as we said the other day, Moyes is under pressure from the first game this season, so he's going to want to get off to a good start. They're probably looking at these first 3 games as where we've got to pick up our points, because Liverpool and City are 2 tough games, and we don't usually get points off of them. So the Chelsea, a London derby at home, beatable. Brighton at the moment are losing players left, right, and centre. Like, it looks like they're. Sorry, Greg, go on.
I was going to say, we've got to break the duck at some point, haven't we?
Yeah, no, we have to. We can't keep looking at every time we play Brighton thinking, oh, we can't beat them, because eventually we will beat them. Let's just hope it comes sooner rather than later. And records are for DJs, mate. Fucking, let's just end that. Let's end that hoodoo and let's finally walk out of Brighton. So I think the last time we beat them there was when we won 1-0 and Kevin Nolan scored in the Championship. So that's how long ago it was.
And then we beat it with 6-0 at home that year as well, didn't we?
Yeah. So it's no, we need to end it. But yeah, let's just get that win tomorrow. It's going to be tough, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be playing on the front foot. Their manager, I think, likes to play a little bit more attacking. So it seems like they're going to be the team. They're going to be throwing everything at us. We're going to play defensive, ugly, but you know, it could play into our hands, especially start to see. You don't like to see your team going. Teams like Bournemouth, all due respect, and giving up possession, giving that up, but. Yeah, I think it could work in our favour. And I think if we're going to play on the counter, Cornet could be an interesting option, as someone with pace, because we do lack pace in the side. So Cornet, and he does play up front. And that's the thing. We're talking about Ings, Mubama. Maybe he plays Cornet up front.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it being a tight game tomorrow. I think it's going to be 2 teams that are nervous not to lose. So it could be like a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. I'll take the 1-0 now. I want the points.
I think we're going to nick a 2-1. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet tomorrow. It's not we don't keep many in general. But like you say, I think it's going to be very nervy opening game of the season. Both teams, I think it's a game they can win. So I think it's going to be I think it might be a bit of a scrappy game.
And it's a chance for us to get points on the opening day of the season, because usually we get a top 4 or top 6 club, so it's nice to start off against a team like Bournemouth, so we've got potentially that we can get.
We better not fuck it up. We've been complaining about getting these top teams on the opening day of the fixture. Now we finally get someone down and in and around us. We need to make the most of it. And I've just mixed feelings. Like, part of me feels like this is going to be hard. We don't seem to be ready for the season. We've let players go and we haven't replaced them. We're much weaker than we were last season. Whereas Bournemouth have got new signings in. Obviously, they've got this new manager in. Part of me feels like a loss wouldn't be surprising. But then there's a part of me in my heart that as it gets closer to the game, that excitement builds. And I said this on the preview with Scott. But I start to feel like, do you know what? I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it. And that is the thing. When the expectations for me are low, we always seem to exceed them. Like when I go into a season with high expectations, we seem to have a disaster. When I go in with low expectations, we seem to have a good one. And I'm more comfortable with that. I hate being confident, because when I'm confident, it makes me nervous.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I understand that, and as West Ham fans, we that's how we should be.
Yeah, we're always more comfortable as the underdog, I think.
Yeah, and look, David Moyes will do it. Dan Moyes, this is a big game for Moyes, and it's the first game of the season. But I just feel like for Moyes, there is a lot of dissension, and it's crazy when you think. Obviously, we won a trophy, right? But I just think, with how the league went last season and how the transfer window's gone, a lot of the stories talking about him and leaning towards players that aren't as popular. There is that pressure on him to, if he gets the win, I think it settles a little bit of doubts that have crept in, and it makes people go, okay, cool. Well, you got the win. That's a great start. And the positivity starts to build. Whereas lose, and it gives more credence to what those doubters are saying. And it puts more of that pressure on. We've had a really difficult transfer window, and then we get off to a losing start. Yeah, you should. The sensible thing is to say, well, first game of the season, you can't go mad. You've got to see how things build, right? But I think that's just the way it is. And going into that Chelsea game at home, I said this the other day. It's great that it's away for the first game of the season because it takes that home pressure off with the home crowd. That I think that nerves and that tension is there, and it takes the pressure off. But then if we lose and we take that added pressure and tension now into the Chelsea game, it's hard. I think it's going to be hard, and that's a tough game. So this is a huge game for David Moyes to put his marker down,
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. And as I said on the other day when we done that season review thing, is that David Moyes is under a lot of pressure, and they'll because he's only got a year left on his deal. It's easier to sack him sort of like 10 games into the season, and they'll be looking for him to slip up. They'll be looking for him to maybe. Obviously, I want him to do well, but I think he hasn't made a lot of friends in the football club, especially with rumours with Tim Stuyton. So, look, let's just hope that we get that result tomorrow.
Yeah, huge, absolutely huge. So fingers crossed. But yeah, all right. So, what were your predictions? You both gave yours, didn't you? Did you?
I said 2-1.
I'm going to go for a scrappy 1-0.
All right, so yeah, that's what Scott predicted on the preview. I said 2-1 on the preview, so I'll stick with it and I'll join Gray on that one. So to get these couple of questions in Miss Amaret has got, it's our wonderful mod. Just in case you didn't start it down, is it looking more likely now Friday Night Pint 2 will be held at the end of the season? No, it's difficult for you guys to source locations. All I say, bit of progress on that front, but expect it should be a lot sooner than the end of this season, I would say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we've had can't really say too much at the moment, but yeah, we should have some stuff to announce in the next couple of weeks as well, which is exciting for us. And it's going to be good going forward during the season. So yeah, FNP 2 will happen a lot sooner than that. So
yeah, oh, definitely. We want it to happen. We'd do it next week if we could. So don't worry, you won't be waiting.
Time in the first one, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely brilliant, and there's a lot of people that didn't get to make it that would love to come. And so just we are working on it. We're making a bit of progress, and it should be a lot sooner than the end of the season. A lot sooner. So we're on it. Don't worry. And little question for you, Ryan. You reckon Joshua will win, right? What are your thoughts on yet another doping scandal? Bit boxing question in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that I'm gonna be home in time to watch some of the boxing tomorrow. I should be back in time for Joshua's fight, but I want to see the undercard as well. Yeah, no, look, it's going to be easy for Joshua tomorrow, but fair play to the bloke that stepped in. He only fought last Saturday, but look, I'm not going to comment on Dillian White because it's, it could be innocent until it's proven. So I'm not going to comment on that, but yeah, it's just another downer on boxing at the moment. So but I'm looking forward to the fight. Hopefully, like Joshua gets a good like bit of boxing in, a bit of it ain't over in the first round.
If he somehow loses, he's finished, surely.
Well, you know what? I was saying this to someone today. Like, this bloke that stepped in, sometimes they're the most awkward fights because that other person, a bit like when Joshua fought Ruiz, no one thought he's overweight. Oh, he's a little geezer. And then he knocked him out. Like, it's just one of them things with boxing. So, but I think Joshua will win tomorrow, and then
yeah. There you go. You heard it here first. Well, not first, but you heard it here. That's Brian's prediction. But yeah, anything else you guys? Oh, camera's gone again.
Camera's gone again.
Anything else you guys want to touch on?
No, I think we've sort of covered everything.
Pretty much covered it all, haven't we? I think.
There we go. Yeah, so get out and everyone catch the end of this Man City game. Be interested to see how Company does. Obviously, we were linked with him, and I think a lot of our fans, including myself, wanted him. So I'm interested to see how he does and what goes on. So yeah, and Josh Cullen's playing as well.
Yeah.
So love Josh Cullen. As a West Ham boy, and want to see the best of him. So yeah, go and check that out. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It was a good show, lads. Thank you very much. We had a good chat, lots of good stuff to get into, and some great comments. So thank you, everyone. You help make this show, the Friday Night Pint. It would not be the show it is without all your great comments and chat, and even the ones we don't get to read out because there's so many. I'm always keeping an eye on your comments, and yeah, love you guys. So yes, tomorrow watch along live. The live watch along is back. Me, Damo, and Jace. Damo has his forfeit to do. I don't know if you guys know about the forfeit that Damo
got a thing or something.
Basically, he said last season he didn't think we was going to win the Conference League. He didn't believe, and he said if we lose, he will sing "Believe" dressed as Cher. He will dress as Cher and sing "Believe." So if you want to see a big fat bearded hairy bloke,
I'll be watching that back in the car on the way home. But if he's still got that big beard, he's going to look like the bird out of The Greatest Showman when he's singing.
Yeah, he has. It could be the stuff of dreams or the stuff of nightmares. So check that out. Ryan and Nikki are going up to Bournemouth, so there will be the fan cams back and all of that stuff. So yeah, join us live from 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to be good, and great to have you back, Gray. Always.
Cheers, mate. It's good to be back.
And
Great to be back amongst you lovely people.
We will see you all soon. Thank you all for watching. One thing left to say.